What is going on, guys? Grave here. Today I'd like to talk about the community letter from the new head of ZeniMax Online Studios, Joe Burba. Now, of course, he took over a few weeks back after longtime ESO head Matt Fyror stepped down. And he did release a letter to the community, and I kind of wanted to go over a few things here. First of all, let's talk about the kind of introduction he had. After 20 years in the game industry and 13 years at ZOS, I am both humbled and honored to lead the incredibly talented team here as we continue our work on the Elder Scrolls Online. Taking the baton from Matt Fyror in this ongoing MMO journey, I am lucky to have learned many important lessons on both leadership and maintaining the long-term relationship we have with the ESO fam. Before I share more about myself, please allow me to assure you, the ESO community, that this game isn't going anywhere, and the studio is continuing to work hard on new features, adventures, and improvements. We said that there's big changes to the world of Tamriel on the horizon, and that hasn't changed. We will be sharing more about those soon. So it looks like they're still doubling down on continuing the game. I know a lot of people have kind of been curious about what's going on within ZeniMax and Microsoft in general, since Microsoft had so many layoffs over the last several years, but a lot in the past month or so. And a lot of people were worried, since they canceled ZOS's other game that they were creating, that a lot of people were excited to see, a game that had been in development for many, many years. And I think a lot of people were worried that something may happen to ESO, that may decide to kind of just put it on the back burner and just let it kind of ride it out until people just stop playing. But that does not seem to be the case. It seems like Microsoft is definitely backing ESO, and the team there is going to continue to do a lot of things. I do like that he says big changes to the world of Tamriel on the horizon. That sounds good for the game. Now, who knows how long these will take to implement in the game. We know that ZOS is not always real quick with some of their updates. They take their time on some of that, which is a good thing. But overall, I thought this was a really good kind of message from him, kind of to the community. Matt Fyror always did these. A lot of them at the end of the year, I'm sure a lot of you have read. He would kind of talk about the past year and what you can expect in the next year going forward. The one thing else that I want to talk about here, he says, during his departure, Matt told me at the core of ESO's success are two teams, the team at ZOS and the ESO community. The game would not exist without either. The players are the beating heart of this game, and we developers should never, ever forget that. That was one thing I always liked about Matt Fyror. When you heard him talk, he always talked about the community. He was always passionate about what the community was playing, what they were saying. Always listening to the community is great for any game development team, because if you're not listening to your community, you're probably not going to have players for very long. And I know ZOS does not always make the best decisions in a lot of the community's mind, even mine. In a lot of ways, I feel like they do things that are strange, it's odd to me. We never really know why they do it. They have gotten a little bit better over the last several months, especially since the update 47 PTS has been out, of kind of clarifying some of the stuff they're doing. I hope they continue to do that in the future. It gives the community a better idea of what's going on. But I'm sure a lot of changes they make probably are for things later down the road. And I'm not meaning in the coming months. It may be things in the coming years. A lot of the nerfs and things, I'm sure, leading up to update 46 was because of the multi-class system. Having the ability to combine different classes, that's probably why we saw so many nerfs over the years, to kind of get everything in line. And I'm sure it takes a long time to get this stuff out there. That's why I said, when he said big changes are on the horizon, I'm kind of curious at how long these will take. But overall, I do think that ESO in general is definitely in good hands with Joe Burba. The team there has been phenomenal. They always do great content, always do great story content, dungeon content, trial content. I'm really curious to see what they do moving forward. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this. And of course, if you like the video, hit the like. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so. And I'll catch you next time. Peace.